For a while, the story around Tiger Woods felt settled. We were told he was winding things down, choosing his moments carefully, making ceremonial appearances, protecting a body that has endured more surgeries, setbacks, and punishment than almost any champion in modern sports. The narrative was gentle, respectful, and final. Tiger, the legend, was transitioning into something quieter. And then, almost without warning, that narrative cracked. Because just when the noise around him finally began to fade, Tiger Woods did what he's done his entire career. He changed the conversation overnight. No announcement, no press conference, no dramatic reveal. Just movement, subtle, deliberate movement that pulled him right back into the center of the sport. And when Tiger re-enters the spotlight, even quietly, the golf world has learned to pay attention. Over the past several weeks, the signs have been impossible to ignore. Unexpected comments during interviews, quiet sightings at practice facilities, rumors circulating among insiders about swing speed, distance gains, and equipment tweaks that don't line up with a golfer casually enjoying retirement. These weren't nostalgic check-ins. They felt intentional, strategic, calculated. Whispers began spreading across the PGA Tour. Not fan speculation, but informed conversations. Timelines were mentioned, preparation windows, long-term planning that extended far beyond a few honorary tee times. This didn't sound like closure. It sounded like groundwork. And when multiple respected voices around the tour start connecting the same dots independently, the question becomes unavoidable. Why now? What surprised people inside the game wasn't just that Tiger was active again. It was how he was talking. He wasn't speaking like someone closing a chapter. He wasn't framing his future in weeks or months. He was speaking in seasons, in years. Carefully, yes, but confidently, referencing physical progress, hinting at what his body could tolerate, acknowledging limitations without surrendering ambition. That isn't the language of a farewell tour. That's the language of unfinished business. The ripple effect was immediate. A PGA Tour that thought it had a clear roadmap suddenly had to pause and reassess. Expectations shifted. Conversations changed. The spotlight, which had begun to drift elsewhere, snapped right back onto Tiger Woods. And perhaps that was the biggest shock of all. This wasn't just about whether Tiger could compete again. It was about whether he was preparing to reshape professional golf one more time without ever saying so out loud. Because history has taught us one thing above all else. When Tiger Woods goes quiet, something big usually follows. To understand why this moment feels different, you have to understand why 2026 matters. The PGA Tour isn't simply rolling into another season. It's approaching a structural crossroads. Behind closed doors, schedules are being reshaped. Priorities are shifting. The tour is still recalibrating its identity in a fractured, post-conflict era. Stability is the goal, but uncertainty remains everywhere. And historically, moments like this are when the biggest figures exert the most influence, especially one figure in particular. By 2026, Tiger Woods will be in his early 50s, carrying a body that has survived an extraordinary amount of trauma. The public assumption was straightforward. Fewer appearances, symbolic tee times, 1 or 2 emotional returns each year. Protect the legacy. Don't chase what the body might not allow anymore. That story felt complete, comfortable, predictable, which is exactly why what's happening now feels so unsettling. Because recent conversations haven't been about Tiger disappearing. They've been about what comes next. That's a subtle but critical shift. Analysts and insiders aren't treating him like a ceremonial figure anymore. They're discussing preparation cycles, selective competition, whether a carefully managed schedule could still be viable. The tone has moved from reflective to speculative. And when the tone around Tiger Woods changes like that, it usually means the internal reality has already shifted. For a long time, expectations were intentionally low. Fans were told to be grateful for whatever they received. A major appearance here, a special event there. Tiger as symbol, not threat. That narrative protected everyone from the tour to Tiger himself, but it also quietly shut the door on ambition. Now, that door doesn't look nearly as closed. The contrast is striking. What people expected was a slow fade into legend. What Tiger appears to be signaling now is something entirely different. Measured, controlled, forward-looking, not chasing the past, but refusing to be defined by it. And when you line that up with a PGA Tour searching for direction, one question looms larger than all the rest. What if Tiger Woods isn't done shaping the future yet? As with most Tiger moments, it didn't start loudly. There was no announcement, no bold declaration, just sightings, subtle confirmations. Tiger swinging a club again, not symbolically, not cautiously, but with intent. After a long absence marked by injury setbacks and guarded optimism, footage and reports began surfacing that suggested real progress. His balance looked steadier, his movement more fluid. The speed unexpectedly looked closer to vintage than anyone anticipated. This felt different. Then came the equipment talk, and that's where things escalated. Tiger has never been someone who casually discusses distance or ball speed, especially at this stage of his career. So when carefully worded claims began circulating about gains, efficiency, and responsiveness, people took notice. That isn't nostalgia talking. That's data-driven confidence. For someone supposedly winding down, those are not the metrics you focus on unless you're measuring yourself against competition. Behind the scenes, the whispers grew louder. Insiders began floating timelines that stretched beyond a single season. Not promises, but possibilities. Not guarantees, but scenarios. Competitive golf, selective schedules, preparation cycles that only make sense if the goal is to contend, not simply to participate. What made it even more telling was how seriously these conversations were taken by people who know Tiger best. This wasn't wishful thinking. It was informed speculation. A swing video here, a distance comment there, a carefully chosen sentence about readiness. Individually, they're easy to dismiss. Together, they form a pattern. This doesn't look like a retired legend enjoying the game on his own terms. It looks like someone methodically testing limits, gathering information, and evaluating how far the door is still open. And Tiger Woods has never done anything randomly. What's become clear is that Tiger doesn't need to announce anything to command attention. A single clip, a brief update, one carefully placed quote. That's enough to shift the entire PGA Tour ecosystem. No other player past or present still carries that kind of gravitational pull. Inside Tour leadership, even the smallest Tiger developments matter. His schedule influences calendars. His availability affects event profiles. His involvement changes conversations about exposure, priorities, and long-term planning. This isn't favoritism. It's reality. When Tiger is relevant, the tour benefits. And when there's even a chance that he could be meaningfully relevant again, planning becomes complicated. You don't ignore a variable this powerful, especially during a period of transition. The commercial response has been immediate. Sponsors treat Tiger updates like market indicators. Television partners understand exactly what his presence does to ratings. Social engagement spikes the moment his name trends for the right reasons. Even speculative headlines outperform confirmed victories by current stars. That isn't an insult to today's elite. It's a reminder of how singular Tiger's impact still is. He doesn't join the story. He becomes the story. And that's where the tension intensifies. Because now the tour faces a question it didn't expect to revisit so soon. If Tiger is coming back in any form, what does that actually look like? Is he a selective contender choosing moments carefully? A part-time competitor who still alters the balance of events? Or something even more influential, a power broker shaping the future from within? At this point, Tiger's path forward doesn't feel singular. It feels layered. One option is a limited competitive return, carefully chosen events, controlled preparation, realistic expectations, not a full season grind, but meaningful competition on his terms. Another path points towards selective major appearances, where experience, course knowledge, and mental strength still matter more than volume. These wouldn't be farewell gestures. They would be calculated decisions. And then there's the option that may matter most in the long run, a strategic role that extends beyond scorecards and leaderboards. Tiger has already shown a willingness to influence the tour from behind the scenes during turbulent times. If he combines selective competition with quiet authority, his impact could extend far beyond his own results. That wouldn't be a comeback in the traditional sense. It would be an evolution, and evolutions, unlike moments, tend to last.